You're watching Twin Tiers Sunday with Renata Steele.
Hello and welcome to Twin Tiers Sunday. I'm Renata Steele with WENY News, and this week we're talking about a great program in the Southern Tier, the Elmira Economic Opportunity Program. I'm joined this week by Andrea Ogunwumi and Marcus Johnson, who are going to talk about some of the programs and services, some of the great events that are coming up throughout the year. Andrea, you are the CEO, and I think a lot of people have maybe heard of EOP, driven by it, maybe been to the Ernie Davis Community Center, but maybe they're not really familiar what the Elmira Economic Opportunity Program really does for the community. And from what I know, you seem to strive to give people a sense of empowerment, to help them take charge of their situations and their lives. So just give me a quick overview of EOP.
Renata, thanks, and thanks so much for welcoming us today. The Economic Opportunity Program is a 49-year-old community action agency. And in terms of community action, our role is to provide programs and services for Chemung and Schuyler County that help individuals and families become self-sufficient. Now, self-sufficiency is different depending on what your need is. And so if you need a GED in order to be employed, or you need job training, or you need child care for your children so that you can go to work, those are some of the programs and services that we provide. Our focus is a hand up, not a handout.
Absolutely, and you've got a number of different programs that we are going to get into. I know you're also a Head Start location for the region. But let's talk more about briefly the Ernie Davis Community Center, because that's kind of headquartered where you all are, and a lot of people are familiar with the center.
Yes, the Ernie Davis, we actually have the Ernie Davis Family Center and the Ernie Davis Community Center, and those are two buildings. They are right adjacent to each other. But the Ernie Davis Family Center is the headquarters of the Economic Opportunity Program, and that's where we're located in Elmira. We also have a small satellite location in Schuyler County. Okay. But in our Elmira location is our headquarters, and there we have all of our administrative offices, and most of our programs do their operation out of that facility. And we're at 650 Baldwin for the Ernie Davis Family Center, and for the Ernie Davis Community Center, which is our community-wide center with athletics and after-school programming. We're located on 5th Street, but they are adjacent properties. You'll find most of our employees are located there. We have actually 175 employees, and about 75 of them are located at that facilities. Others are out at Head Start locations, and also we have some in Schuyler County who provide literacy support as well as weatherization. Our Head Start program is our largest program, and so we have 351 slots for children who are 3 and 4 year olds who we serve. In the Ernie Davis Community Center, and that's our other Ernie Davis, named after our hero, Ernie Davis, we provide after-school programming for youth who are ages 14, 15 to about 21 years old. There are about 300 to 500 of them who we serve annually with athletic activities, as well as the Fashion Club, which is a new program that we're hosting, a digital audio workstation program, and Marcus Johnson, who is our artist in residence at the Elmira City School District, has helped in that program as well. And we provide self-development concepts and programming. We provide after-school meals and nutrition in that location. And then we host annual events like the upcoming Martin Luther King event that's called Together We Dine, which is a dinner that we've hosted for 16 years. We provide on Martin Luther King's birthday more than 1,000 meals to members of the community. We serve many of them who are senior citizens and shut-ins, so we deliver to them in the morning. And then at noon, we come together in the community center building, and we dine together as a community.
Oh, wow. And now you mentioned real briefly, touching on Marcus, I want to bring you in now. It seems that you also have a great involvement with kids in the school district, in the Elmira City School District. Now, as an artist in residence, you are an entrepreneur, you're a musician. What does the artist in residence role for you mean to get involved with these kids at ECSD?
You know, it's kind of funny that you mentioned for me versus others. Most artists in residence come in and perform, and they focus primarily on the performance aspect of being a musician. I am much more, as a lawyer, having an MBA, being a college professor, and having traveled and spoken around the world, I have decided to make this kind of my ministry of going back into the school districts and imparting some of what I've learned to the next generation and planting seeds so that they can say, okay, look, the question today when I asked a young lady who told me she could not go to Harvard Medical School is I pulled up a picture of Harvard Medical School on the wall through the projector and said, what is anatomically different than from you than that person that's sitting on the steps up there? And we finally drilled down to the answer, which was nothing. And if she can do it, and if I can go to a top 10 law school and business school and do the things I've done, you can do the same thing. But I use the music to kind of soften it, because you hear somebody play, you hear that talent, you understand that you can have the right brain and the left brain work at the same time. It's just being given the chance to know that it's possible. And I kind of stand out in front of the kids, between them and the community, where it's like, well, that's not a real job. Well, I can tell you what's a real job or not. I can tell you where I've been around the planet. And I can tell you where I'm planned already to go this year and beyond. And it's very key to let the students know and inspire them to dream it, plan it, execute it, and then reflect, to listen and learn. And that's the cycle of life.
Absolutely. And now I think it's easy for kids to say, well, we don't have the money, I guess I'm just not going to college, or I'm not smart enough to go do this, that, or the other thing, or I'm never going to get out of Elmira. But it seems like you've got a message that yes, you can. You don't have to be necessarily a product of your circumstances. You can take charge and you can do more with yourself.
I mean, and I get that all the time. Well, so-and-so has this or that. I'm like, well, you don't know if so-and-so is being mentally abused at home. You don't know if they're being physically abused at home. And if you don't have money, you don't really understand whether or not that is a blessing or a curse. People are like, I want to be a superstar. And then those that are superstars go crazy because of the attention and the attacks that they are under, both mentally, spiritually, financially. Sometimes we see that. We see the carcasses at the side of the road all the time of people who had hundreds of millions of dollars, or at least ran through it. My goal is to let them know that success is being happy, and your happiness is the foundational component of your happiness is making sure that you're driving your car on the road of life. And the real stern message that I'd let them know, which isn't really stern, is that this isn't a dress rehearsal. Like, this is your life. And you can either live it, properly and live it the way that you want to live it, or you're going to look back at some point and say, if I had only. And again, my goal is to make sure that as few of them as possible say, if only I had, and as many of them look back with a wink, because I'm a little smiley face with my dot and my line and a smile, smiley face underneath. The first person that you look at every day, are you winking at him or her? And if you're doing that, then I'm doing my job.
And now we want to talk real quickly about the Southern Tier Jazz Festival coming up in August, because you are an accomplished keyboardist and musician and performer. What can people look forward to at the annual event this year?
Honestly, it's going to be more of the same. You're right, I have 17 records under my name, and we always have the chore of trying to say what I do in my career. I have 17 records. My last 7 records are top 10 Billboard, top 5 Billboard, actually, jazz. And was nominated a couple of years ago for an NAACP Image Award. And so I do play the major festivals around the world. On August 16th, I'm playing right here, in Horseheads. And we just have a ball. We play, there are local groups that perform. It's more like a farmer's market as well. We're going to have some of the wineries. I actually own a winery as well that will have our product in there. We just got distribution in New York. So wine, jazz, fun, family, and we're talking to some of my other friends that are big names in jazz as well. So we're looking forward to engaging them and having them as part of the event. And again, it's all to support EOP. I hope at some point you all talk about the bistro. I hope that you talk about the kitchen and the fact that you fed people when it was cold for free the other day. I can't wait to talk about that or listen.
All right, and so we are going to talk about that coming up in the show, so stay with us again, Marcus. It was wonderful talking with you again. The Southern Tier Jazz Festival coming up August 16th at Thorn Street in Horseheads, New York. So we'd love to have you guys come back closer to that and promote that event as well. But please stay with us for our next segment of Twin Tier Sunday as we continue our conversation about Elmira EOP. Stay tuned.
Twin Tiers Sunday will return in a moment.
And welcome back to Twin Tiers Sunday. We're continuing our conversation about the Elmira Economic Opportunity Program, their programs and services. And now we are joined by Anita Lewis, who's the VP of Community and Donor Relations from EOP. So thank you for coming on this show to join us. And now, Andrea, we were talking real briefly the last segment about some of the programs and services and all the, the outreach that you do for the community. One of the newer programs that's come about in the past couple of years is the Community Food for Jobs program, which is kind of a culinary institute of sorts. And they're really doing wonderful things for the community. So let's learn more about that program.
Yes, I'd love to talk about the Community Foods for Jobs program because it is a microeconomics program that we developed actually 3 years ago. And we have a 10-week culinary arts program. So in that program, we provide job training for individuals who may be interested in culinary arts and also possibly even to start their own businesses.
Oh, wow.
And out of the program, we've launched 3 businesses, and in terms of catering businesses. And so we're very excited about that. The program is 10 weeks, hosted in the Community Foods for Jobs program, which is the bistro. We actually have our own bistro where we serve the public. So they have the opportunity to learn how to provide the support of cooking in a bistro or cafe setting, as well as the fact that we provide support for our Head Start nutrition team. So we actually cook 180,000 meals to support the Head Start program. So the students have a chance to learn how to do institutional cooking. And then we cater. So we are available to cater businesses, and we have many clients who we support with catering of events, lunches, dinners, and special events. So we're open actually Tuesday through Thursday, 10 o'clock a.m. until 5 o'clock p.m. And then on Friday, we have extended hours. We're open from 11 to 8 o'clock p.m. We have a new activity that's coming through the support of the CFJP Bistro program, and it's called Eat Well, Live Well. And that activity is for senior citizens. It's in collaboration with the Office of the Aging. So on Wednesdays, we have some special treats that seniors can be involved in terms of nutrition. So Anita, you want to add anything to that?
Well, we actually are, like I said, working with OFA, and it's a nutritional aspect to get seniors to come and socially be active and have a nutritious meal. And so there's some other things, that go on with it, but it's a nominal donation for them, but it's just a good social. They want to get them out and get them a nice nutritious meal at least, once a week. And we may add some more time, once we start to see how it works and how everything goes, and see if we can get some seniors out.
And a lot of times I think people don't realize that seniors are an underserved demographic in the communities. They're often overlooked, especially if they say don't get Meals on Wheels, or they're just unable to have the resources to get what they need.
We've actually had several folks who have used our catering services for their parents, especially if they are from out of town, but their parents have a nutritional need and they're not here physically to help with that. So they've actually hired our bistro team to drop food off for them, and we can cook whatever the nutritional need is. We have skilled chefs and apprentice chefs to cook in that way. The other thing about the bistro is that the individuals who go through the 10-week culinary program successfully, they are ServSafe certified, and ServSafe is a national testing certification around food safety and understanding temperatures. So the individuals who go through our program, they actually show up first day for work ready to perform.
And that makes them a more attractive job candidate as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. We have great support from Wegmans Foundation, from the Hilfiger Foundation, and others. The Darden restaurants support us as well, and they hire many of our students. 92% of our students who go through the program actually are placed in jobs. So this program is about self-sufficiency. So it's a job training program that leads to a job.
And Anita, I'm sure some of the people that end up enrolling in the program never really maybe considered culinary arts as a career until they learned about the Community Food for Jobs program.
Yes, and we do. We do. They come from really different areas, and some of them are personal. They love to cook. They love to be in a kitchen. They said, we just want more. I want to learn more. I want to be able to have this Serve Safe certification. And they love it, and they get in there, and really what starts to happen is they start to carve out what they're really good at, whether it's baking, the cakes, the pies, and they really flourish, once they get in there. They work as a team because there's a team of them, and so they really learn, more than, as Andrea said, really job skills training and, etiquette and how to set a table and, what they really need to do and how to present, their presentation of their food, and so it's really great.
And now you mentioned in the last segment the upcoming Together We Dine event, which is on January 20th. You mentioned it was the 16th annual event coming up in honor of Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And this also goes hand in hand with that program because these students are going to be cooking and presenting the food on this day.
Yes.
It's a great collaboration. The students, and we have an executive chef who will oversee, as well as volunteers from the community. We have probably close to 100 volunteers who support in this event every year. So we wouldn't be able to actually provide this celebration to the community without our community partners who are involved. So the students will be cooking along with the executive chefs, along with several other groups who help and support in the day. So we're really expecting, usually we have about 400 to 500 people who come to the gym for this luncheon Together We Dine event.
And now, how do people take part in this? Do you have to buy tickets, or can you just show up that afternoon? Or
they just show up, and we have a little mailing that we do with our seniors and people with disabilities. We get the numbers back, and if there's some folks that call beforehand, we'll get them on the list and we'll deliver.
Okay, and I want to mention real quickly, because we did a news story on this earlier in the week, and I thought it was just so nice. When we had the sub-zero temperatures this week, the bistro opened its doors to anyone in the community to say, you know what, come out of the cold, come get, a sandwich, a hot coffee, hang out, socialize a little bit. And I just thought that was such a wonderful thing to do, and what a great feeling it must give those students to see these people come in and get to enjoy their food as
Absolutely. They were very excited to be able to serve the community in that way, and so are we. We've had an opportunity 2 years ago when we had the tornado in the community. We were able to come together, and we actually, in support of the Red Cross, provided 3,000 sandwiches.
Wow.
So this day, this past Monday when we began, it was kind of an anniversary for us. When there are opportunities in the community, because we are a community action agency, we rise up. And so we knew that with the sub-zero degree temperatures, that there'd be people who wouldn't have food, and also if they were homeless, they might not have a warm place to stay. So we invited them to come in and hang out at the Ernie Davis Community Center, and it was really a great day for our entire team, because we had more than 50 members of the community showed up and spent much of the day with us.
Great. And well, when we come back, we want to continue to talk about your influence in the community and how you're recognizing students and athletes that have done so much so far this school year. So we're going to talk about that in our final segment of Twin Tier Sunday.
Twin Tier Sunday will return in a moment.
All right, and we are back, and Marcus is back with us, and we want to talk about recognizing our student athletes for everything that they've accomplished. We've had, it's been a really wonderful year for the Elmira City School District, for the Express teams, the football team, the girls cross country team, just a number of sports. And this week, those students were recognized for their accomplishments on and off the field. And it's one thing to be recognized, by your school and by your families, but EOP wanted to do something as well.
I mean, you want to talk a little bit about it? Or?
I would. I think that it really is important for us to take note and to pause when we have exceptional performance and excellence in our community. And we have excellence here. And what we found is in many of the programs and collaborations that we have, we work very closely with the Elmira City School District. We are actually launching a new program. It started already, an after-school program called Arcade. And it's a great partnership with many community partners. Elmira City School District, the Southside Community Center, the YWCA, and we're all serving children, and so we're all working with kids. But again, we think that it's important to pause exceptional performance and to celebrate together. So this reception was really that. Marcus, being the artist in residence, thought that it'd be wonderful to celebrate it, and we did. We came together, more than 70 youth were recognized, a great event. Leaders from our community came, business partners came, and so that's an important thing for us. At the Economic Opportunity Program, every day is a celebration as we get to serve our children in our community. But when it's something special like this, we think that we should pause, and we did.
And you know, the reason we were in a planning session, and the idea for, you know, I had the idea for this, it really stems out of the fact that I'm not from Elmira. I'm from DC. I travel. I'm in Paris and Cannes and Munich in 3 weeks. You know what I mean? I'll be in Atlanta. We were just talking about that before. I'll be in Atlanta, you know, upcoming weeks, and South Carolina and a whole bunch of other places. I hate the big cities. And when I came to Elmira, the one thing I saw was excellence that wasn't being realized, or not realized, but recognized, right? And so it was like, well, what are you talking about? Do you take pictures of the food? You know, I had this incredible fruit salad today with raspberry balsamic vinaigrette, you know, that came from the bistro. Are you tweeting that? You know, the feeding of the, you know, you talked about it in the last segment, the feeding of the community. Do you talk about that? Because I come from a place where in DC, that stuff really goes overlooked, but a lot of people do it. Here, you have to let people know what's going on. There's transition going on around here. There's so much talent. And when you let these, you know, you let your community know what you're doing, they will support you. But if they don't, you know, it goes back to Stephen Covey and Seven's Habits of Highly Effective People. Your passive support, if they don't know about it, they can't help you. But if you're out there, you're a community, you know, what do you call it, a community activism organization, and you're doing these great things, and every time I come up here I find out about new things, it should be recognized. And what these kids have done, you know, out of Elmira to go out to other parts of New York and let them know, yeah, it's more than 3 prisons and, you know, a college, you know what I mean? We are doing our thing. I'm so proud of them. And having come here last year, especially with my buddy Eli and, you know, a couple of other guys, Levi on the football team, it was great to recognize them in that way.
And I've noticed that in the past couple of years, there's this energy building in Elmira, a positive energy, and I think that's exactly what the city needs. And it seems like EOP is involved in that as well, and you know, the recognition needs to be there for these kids and needs to be there for the community. And unfortunately, we're running out of time, but we just wanted to kind of wrap things up. And if people want to learn more about the Elmira EOP, and how do they get in touch and learn more about your programs and services?
It's wonderful. They can call us at 607-734-6174. We're located at 650 Baldwin. Please stop by and visit. We love to have people stop in and visit. Also, we have openings in Head Start, which is our program for 3- and 4-year-olds. So we have currently 5 more slots open, and we really want to encourage people to bring their kids, bring the entire family, because we are a family center and we welcome your visit and involvement. Thank you.
Don't forget Facebook.
Absolutely.
Yes, hit us up on Facebook.
Yes, got to put it out there.
Elmira EOP,
Okay.
Elmira Economic Opportunity Program. Hit us up on Facebook.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for Anita as well, and for all that you do in the community to support and promote and recognize what people are doing. It's really, it shows, and the passion is there, and I can sense it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for this episode of Twin Tier Sunday. We hope you have a wonderful day.